I'm probably biased because it all comes down to this stuff for me. For personal development is at the very heart of this work is shedding the conditioning that you've picked up along the way. So when we come into this world, we're never more pure as far as beings are concerned than when we arrive. And as soon as we arrive, the people who take care of us start to educate us and shape us and condition us in order that we can live in this world. So dance the dance of the particular culture you're born into. Now, hopefully you get to an age where you realize that this has happened, and you realize that the stuff that you're carrying around with you is not yours at all. It's your parents' stuff, or your family's stuff, or your culture stuff. I moved to Germany and I was amazed that the Germans weren't as proud to be German as the English are to be English. I'd grown up on this island where everybody's proud of their country, more or less. But in another culture, that's not the case. Oh, right. So you start questioning things. Now, if you're lucky, you question things early enough where you can start to shed things. And I think having children possibly aids that process, because you start to see yourself being mirrored in your children. And you also start to see your own parents coming through you as you parent those children. So again, there's an opportunity for the wake-up call. And if people just understand that who they think they are is not who they are truly, as we talked about a couple of weeks ago, then there's huge benefit for the entire species. Because as soon as you strip away that surface level of conditioning, then if you're committed to that whole process, you're going to go deeper and deeper. And the deeper you go, the more beauty you find, the more power you find, the more simplicity you find, and the more connection you discover with every single living being, not just humans, but everything on the planet, and in the entire solar system, and in the universe, and any other universes that exist. So all of a sudden, just by dealing with that surface level stuff that we carry with us, we're traveling to the depths of who we are, and we're seeing a much bigger picture than the shiny stuff that is on offer, that the world tells us we should strive for in order that we can rise up above other people and be top of the tree. It's not all about being the best or the top. It's about understanding that we're all connected. And that's only possible, as far as I'm concerned, by addressing, or at least the easiest way to see all of this is by addressing who we are. Same way we've said I can't compare myself with another person because I can't possibly know who they are fully. Why try and change somebody else? Why try and change 7.5 billion people when I can work on myself? If I don't like the reality that I'm looking at, then all I need to do is change the way I look at it. I can't change that reality because of this what did you call it? The communal mindset? Collective, yeah. So because of this collective mindset, the power of all the other 7.5 billion people that are on this planet, I'm almost powerless to do anything about it. All I can do is change my own mindset. Look at myself. There's plenty of work to be done here. Because by the time I realised, when I got working with this guy, I was 31 years old. So there's 31 years of conditioning that I need to sort out. Not all of it is necessarily bad, but I need to sort through it all to decide what to keep, what to throw away, like we've discussed before. So I need to work. Now, I just thought it was 31 years at the time. And then I realised after a conversation with Courage, it goes back generations. We're talking about me carrying my grandparents' stuff with me, their parents, and if you're talking about my culture, being an Englishman, all my ancestors, that whole cultural heritage I'm carrying with me. And to be able to get rid of that and just drop that, the relief that comes with that, and moving to a different country helps, because I can see more clearly where I've come from. I can look back at that island and look at what they're doing to themselves, and they're too, you can't see the wood for the trees when you're there. I mean, we're looking at, as Europeans, at England, the UK, but England really, and thinking, are they crazy? Who knows? Tomorrow we may be doing the same thing with the US. But when you get away from the source of that conditioning, whether it be your family or your culture, it's a lot easier to identify. And when you start, just like I say, shedding it, you realize, actually, I'm not losing my identity, because a lot of people hang on to that far too fiercely because they think that's who they are. But actually, if you let it go, you discover that there's still a whole lot left. And the stuff that's left is more beautiful, more powerful, and more free than the stuff you've been hanging on to. And if we could all do that kind of thing and then discover that we're all connected, then we wouldn't be doing the things to each other that we're doing, we wouldn't be doing things to the planet that we're doing. Everything would be a lot. I read an article by a woman who said she happened to have these prescription drugs from I think a painful episode she'd had. And she'd read something about the fact that they make you work harder, and some students are using them to work harder. So she thought, I've got some left, I'll take one and get some work done. And it was a nightmare for her. She did get lots of work done, but it didn't do her any good. And at one point she realized, or she thought to herself, hold on a minute, me and all these students, we're taking prescription drugs so we could get more work done? Really? That's the world we live in? We should be doing less. We don't need to work that hard. I wrote to a friend who commented on last week's video, and I said to him, yeah, it's becoming more and more clear to me just how distracted we are by the stuff that's on offer, and how we are constantly trying to progress down certain pathways which offer us things that are nowhere near the kind of beauty and power that we all have inside of us. So if we can discover more of that, that would make a huge change to everything. That's what I think we should do. That's what I think we should be doing. And we are doing it. It's perhaps not going as quickly as some of us would like, but that's the nature of the game, really. All we can do is look at ourselves. And going back to the subject of tonight, if we can celebrate how wonderful and how beautiful we are as individuals, that's a huge start. Because if I can see my uniqueness and celebrate that, I can see yours and yours and yours and yours. And if you're doing the same thing and you can see my beauty, that's better than the competition that we've talked about, or the comparisons that we've talked about. That's the essence of it, really. And it starts with the individual. But that doesn't mean to say that we're separate from each other. We're not. We're connected. And this work is so much more powerful when it's done together. Courage used to say, you can't do this work on your own. It's too tough. You need people around you. You need people just to pick you up when you're struggling, to remind you why you started, to show you their progress so that you can be inspired rather than get jealous. Do it together. Does that make sense?